I just wanted to make a video for those beginner slide players out there. So the first thing is which finger you should wear it on. I prefer to play it on this finger. I know Jason Isbell and like Bonnie Raitt play it on their middle finger, which is crazy to me. And tons of people also play it on their pinky finger. That kind of allows them to play with other fingers if they wanted to fret notes. I'm not super good at playing with the slide on my pinky. One thing that helps with slide playing is higher action. So action is how high your strings are off of the fretboard. I play a license plate guitar, which is this weird thing that my cousin made for me, and it has super high action. Like the distance between the strings and the fretboard is crazy. And even on this guitar, which is kind of set up in a sort of hybrid action, you wouldn't want to play with only your fingers fretting chords for like a whole gig. You get carpal tunnel. You get carpal tunnel that night. The high action helps a lot. You might think you're not very good at slide, and then you get on a high action guitar and it kind of changes the whole game. Another thing I'll say about slide is open tuning makes it a little bit easier. Like an open G, just strumming this by itself, that makes a G chord. So when I play all the strings at the 5th fret, I automatically have a new bar chord. That makes it a little bit easier. You kind of have to jump around a little bit more when you play in standard tuning. One thing you want to think about is you don't want to, when you play a normal fretted note, you're definitely between the metal, you're between the silver parts. With the slide, you can almost kind of be above, be right on top of the metal when you're playing slide. It's kind of almost out of tune if you play where you would normally play with your fingers. The other thing about the slide is we're definitely using other fingers to mute the strings. If we don't, like when I'm playing with this finger, applied on this finger hangs out pretty much flat across the strings to mute everything else. If you don't have that down, the other strings will ring out. The other little secret that no one really told me about when I first started playing slide is this hand kills all the sounds. This takes care of everything else. Everything that this middle finger doesn't take care of, these fingers will be held against the other strings. Like if I'm playing on my 2nd string up, the B string, I have my thumb across all these other notes. That way nothing else rings out. If I didn't have that there, if I didn't even have this guy down, and it starts making a lot of crazy noise. Sometimes you want those noises, but if you want a real clean sound, you don't want those ringing out all the time. Another thing about slide guitar is most people don't use a pick with slide. I do sometimes on this crazy guitar here. Unless you're like kind of strumming a song. Most of the time when you're playing slide though, it's odd because you don't really hit all the strings. Some of those strings are going to cause it to sound funny. It's kind of like the pick gets in the way of you being able to mute other strings. If that makes any sense. You also kind of want to be straight across the fretboard. It's like a constant bar chord that doesn't hurt your fingers. I'm hardly ever playing that way, like always kind of straight up and down. So here's a real simple lick that I came up with for one of my students recently. I'm barring all of these with the slide, like I talked about. I'm starting at the 4th fret and just sliding up to 5. Then right here, sliding from the 6th to the 7th fret. finish it off at the 11th fret, sliding to the 12th fret. So if I put that together,